project day. Saturday. It's gonna rain in about an hour. And before it rains, we need to fix this mess. It's a hole in the porch, and there's another one, smaller crack. And the rain drips off of something else I have to fix, which is a dip in the roof. It drips down, drip, 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 making a hole, destroying my porch. So I'm gonna patch with concrete. I'm gonna do my best to do it so that it stays put at least for a little while. And this is my assistant, Oscar, who will be helping in the process. So I'm using this because I have it. It might not be exactly the right thing, but it's better than nothing. So I'm gonna use this Top and Bond. It's concrete patcher. And even though it looks like it's pre-mixed, I think it's just powder in there. So I need to mix it up. And I'm gonna do that in this bucket. And I'm gonna use my little power drill and this little mixing bit so that I can get it real good. The first thing I'm gonna do is mix it thin, and I'm gonna do what's called a brush coat. So I'm gonna brush on a little concrete so that it sticks well. And then I'm gonna prop this old cutting board against the big hole and use this to stabilize it and fill that thing with concrete. So we'll see how that goes. So the thing about mixing concrete is that you always need a little less water than you think. It's also dusty and chokes you. You need a little less water than you think. And if you fill the bucket with water and you go dumping that in there, you'll end up needing 6 buckets of concrete to make anything that you can use. So easy on the water, mix it in slow, kind of like you're mixing plaster. What I'm doing right now is I'm using my glove because it's just easy to mix with my hand, and I'm making this slurry, and I'm going to paint that on with this crappy brush. I'm just going to paint all the places I'm going to repair, and then I'm going to mix up a thicker solution. Okay. So I'm going to paint this thin mixture on everywhere where I'm going to repair, and it's going to just run into the cracks and go to the places where the thicker mixture won't. And it'll give us sort of like a base for it to be like glue. Okay, it's not right there, it's fine. So it's a little bit thicker. Once I get it all mixed up. So I made way too much because I'm trying to get the mix right, but this is what I wanted. Something that's more like putty. And then I'm going to shove it into all those cracks. So now that I've got it about the right shape, I can take my little broom brush and kind of shape it a little better as best I can. And I'll try to trowel in some of these details, like this little trough for the water, which is probably why it cracked there in the first place. And then the trick with concrete is you have to keep it moist. You got to keep it damp for 24 hours. It's kind of the opposite of paint, right? You want it to stay damp and cure really slow so that it doesn't crack. So to keep it damp and to help it keep its shape, I'm going to put this plastic on it, especially that spot on the front that's so important. And then I have this piece of wood, and I'm going to put that right against where I need it to stay flat. And then I have this stuck in the ground, and I'm just going to make a brace, just like that. And that will stay put while the concrete dries. Now I have to cover this other spot in plastic and put some things on top of there to keep the plastic flat on there, and then I'll just keep it damp for about the next day. It's gonna rain, so that'll be easy. All right, it's a couple days later, and I've kept all of this damp to make sure that concrete cures and is as strong as possible. And now we're gonna take off the garbage bag. We're gonna have this funny system keeping everything in place. That's pretty good. All right, patched our concrete.